This debate between Cliff and a student about Bible history is getting heated.
I do suppose that I haven't looked farther enough into the exact evidences of the Bible, but I will say that I have read from historians that most historians who aren't innately biased towards Christianity or who aren't Christian historians will bring up a lot of discrepancies between the holy text of the Bible, both the Old and New Testament, and I tend to trust the intellectuals and scholars who don't start from the position of belief and then move from there. But let's...
Big mistake. Where do they start? Those scholars, I debate those guys, and I promise you they've got a starting place. And if you don't think they've got a starting place, you are really naive.
People don't need to prove the unreliability of the text.
That's not my point.
It's the text needs to prove its own reliability.
I agree with you. That's why you got to have tests.
That's why there needs to be evidence of some kind.
That's right. That's why you got to have tests to determine historicity. And if the document fails the test, you reject it. But if it passes the test, you accept it. Don't you guys think that way in life?
Well then, let's look at the document.
Right.
Have you ever heard about how the Gospels? Most historians would say that the Gospels have an incorrect interpretation of how the political climate of Jerusalem was at that time.
Really? What do the Gospels tell you about the political climate in Jerusalem?
They say it was a capital, which it was not.
Capital of what? What do the Gospels say Jerusalem was a capital of? I'm not aware of it, so please tell me. Sir, the Jews were under the heel of the Roman Empire. The capital of the Roman Empire was not Jerusalem, it was Rome, right?
I think the idea was Israel, not Rome, which...
The Gospels do not talk about Israel being an autonomous nation on its own. They were under the oppression of the Roman Empire. Okay, so what's your next problem?
They were still a state, but anyway.
They were a conquered land. They lived under oppression.
So we fundamentally disagree on history, and that's
No, we
fine.
don't.
Yes, we do.
No, I would say you have a major vacuum.
I would say that I need to be convinced a little bit more. That's
All I'm asking you to do is put together tests that you use consistently to determine historicity. You should have a problem with whether the New Testament is reliable historically or not. Living in this environment that you do, reading the magazines you do, you better have a problem. You better not just blindly say, oh, I trust the Gospels to give me accurate information. When you got problems with historicity, you better put together some reasonable tests that you use consistently to determine historicity. That's intellectual honesty. That's doing your homework.